What's up, man? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner and Cold Flick Symposium. How are you doing? How am I doing? Okay, I just saw a comedy. That's right, a comedy. In 2023, just 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever the hell it was, when the likes of Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, Judd Apatow, all these people that were just taking over the world with comedies like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and all their other fucking spin-offs and other movies with the same characters that were ruling the comedy genre, could we have foreseen that comedy basically just would go by the wayside and disappear? As I said in my other review, I don't know which one I released first. Yeah, I roll like that. The Machine, I just saw back-to-back comedies on the same day. In 2023, crazy to say, it's wild that we would get something like that. It seems like we don't get any comedies anymore, and this year we actually have a few lined up. And this one, we have the same fucking thing. We have a similar kind of comedy, if you will. We have a stand-up comedian in Sebastian Maniscalco. I think that's how you say his name. Maniscalco. I always forget how to say his name. Who also, similarly like Bert Kreischer, I'm not a huge fan of, but I am a fan of. I do like his work. And he's pitted in a movie where, there's a little bit of father and son dynamic to it. I mean, this movie's literally called About My Father. That is what I'm reviewing today, people. Did I say that? God, get it together. And it's just weird. The fact that we would have something so similar and it also be a comedy and similar in story. I'm sorry, I'm just taken back by this because I don't know if you've noticed, this shit just doesn't happen anymore. I like comedies. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like to laugh? The one thing that is different, though, is whereas The Machine is more, turn your brain off and fuck around to a crazy, ludicrous comedy, not starring ludicrous people. There's other meanings for that word. This one has a little more heart. And honestly, I think that's what won me over a little more. Yeah, I'm going to come out and say it. I like this one more. And I like both, so that's something. Critics shit on both these movies. About My Father was a very, very pleasant surprise. Now, also, I'm guilty, because whereas, I'm kind of a lukewarm fan of Sebastian, I do think he's good. His stand-ups have made me laugh. Robert De Niro, I'm just die hard with. Now, that's not to say I'm fanboying out here, because he's made tons of shit movies in the recent decade. Too many to talk about. His best years are behind him. Even as My Dirty Grandpa movie was that had moments, but overall I was like, yeah, there's more moments than good moments. This one was almost Meet the Parents-esque with the parent or the old parent and, Meet the Parents, the actual movie. It's the parent meeting the parents. It's fucking Robert De Niro meeting the parents. You got Robert De Niro going with Sebastian and his girl, because he's about to propose to her, and they both do the getaway to the family's house, and they're all rich, prude fuckers, whereas Sebastian and big old Rob De Niro are classic, just not gonna fucking pay for shit. We're gonna cheap our way out. We get what we can, and we can what we get, if that even makes sense. I'm just saying shit at this point, but you get what I mean. It's just that classic family is just one thing, it's not really spoiler heavy, they talk about in the movie. They're like, this part of the menu, we don't do a snack, we don't do an appetizer, we're here. Clashing with the family, it's just like, we don't even look at prices. We got it like that. So it's a fun dynamic. This type of dynamic's been done in a lot of movies, but when executed right, it is fun to watch play out. And it is executed right. Here, I will say that. Another thing I will say, another huge fan moment. I'm a huge fan of Workaholics. And Anders Holmvik, or as, the actor's name, Anders Holm, is in this movie. He is the main girl that Sebastian's going to marry his brother. And being a huge fan of Workaholics, I had my own little that little thing I had in my pocket where I'm like, yeah, this movie's supposed to be good, but also really rooting for my guy Anders here. I don't know why I'm keeping you in my pocket, Anders, but Durs, that's where you're going. Until we meet again, buddy. He did good. So, I had a dog in the fight in this one. There's certain people, of course, Robert De Niro, you want to see him do good, you're pleasantly surprised. Durs is a guy that, isn't completely invisible since Workaholics, but when he gets a role in a comedy, especially in a genre that's pretty depleted, and that's the only thing I'm imagining I'm going to see him in, because I can't imagine Anders Holm starting to be an action star or something insane like that, I needed him to kill it in this movie, you know, so he can get more roles and shit like that. And I think he did. And I think the whole family did. The other brother, I think, really executed. Maybe it was a little too strong at times, but he executed the whole weird, nerdy, like, get away from me, like, what the hell is wrong with you type of brother. Like, he's like one with the universe, creep, very fragile, you know, overly sensitive type of brother. Whereas Anders Holm was the just straight up prick kind of brother. But he wasn't really like a prick like I was expecting him to be a prick. Something fell down in the background, people. I don't know if you heard that. Which I've seen him play that prick that's more in your face prick. This is more like oblivious prick. Like he doesn't even realize how much of a prick he is because he's been shaded in this, like, you know, under the comfort of mommy and daddy's wing. He's just a rich douchebag. And it was fun to watch play out. Everybody in this movie, Kim Cattrall, who could not like Kim Cattrall? I mean, she's still beautiful. How old is this woman now? Still beautiful. Everybody, I think, did good. Leslie Bibb, very good. Very good. Sebastian, I think, you know, he's been in a couple movies here and there. Solid performance. And overall, I think what really separates this one is it's not just the funny jokes in the movie, because this movie, I think, whereas like when I watch The Machine, I'll say The Machine, like the highs of The Machine when it hit, it was like, oh my God, home run. This one had a couple less home runs, but was more consistently funny. And the thing that really helped this one out, I think, too, is what's here, dude, the heart of the movie. By the end of the movie, I didn't get choked up, but there's a moment, you know, that father and son bonding moment. You know, it's going to happen in this type of movie if it's done right. And damn near, even if it's not done right, they're going to have that little moment where it's like, damn, like father and son bond coming to a full head, because he's got to earn his father's trust with the situation, because Robert De Niro's not trying to give up that ring to go to Sebastian's girlfriend so he can propose to her. And that's why he's going on this trip to begin with. He wants to meet the family. He wants to know every little thing about everything. He wants to put his nose in the business of the situation at hand, while Sebastian's just like, it's my fucking life, Dad. Let me just marry this girl. So it's fun to indeed watch that play out. But you knew at some point it was going to be father-son bond moment, whether that's broken relationship, then it's recovered, or just like, damn, thanks, Dad. There's good, very good to good moments with that at the end. It's kind of brief, but it kind of hangs over the movie, you know, like a cloud, but not, you know, a cloud where it's like a storm cloud and it's just dampening the movie. It's just kind of there, and you know it's fucking there, and it's a nice little blanket over the movie, but it's subtle enough to where it doesn't take over the movie. And then once it does finally hit, it's like, oh man, like that made me feel a little deeper than I thought it was going to. So you add that with some solid comedy, you got a memorable comedy here. I don't understand how this one got hated on. The Machine, on the other hand, funny comedy, but I could see it being that movie, just like the stand-up comedian thinks he can come into our world. The pretentious critics, like, there's nothing to really say here. What is this movie? I could see that one getting shit on, even though I don't disagree. I mean, I disagree. Not that I don't disagree. What the fuck? Done threw me all the way off, didn't it? No, but I disagree with that narrative. The Machine was good. But this one has me just, no, not flat. I'm not like, oh my God, you know, it's not, you know, that big. It's just some critics disagree with my opinion on a movie. But, you know, you can kind of sit back sometimes where you're like, really? Did y'all didn't like that? Like, sometimes it's a little weird. Like, you feel like it's a critic movie. This seems like it could be a critic comedy, and it wasn't. So I'm very curious why that is. I might even read some actual reviews now, because I don't do that. I'll look at the rating, but I won't actually read what they say, because I'm curious what other people are thinking about this, like beyond the critics. Like, you know, henceforth you. Like, leave a comment if you've seen this movie. Let me know what the fuck you thought of it, because I thought it was a really good comedy. And again, probably said this on the other review too. Maybe it's because I'm that starved, because I'm so damn comedy depleted, because we don't get any, but you know, maybe I'm being a little more forgiving, but I did not see any holes in this movie. You got likable lead. You got Robert De Niro, who's always like, come on, he's bringing a presence. You got good chemistry between them and that father-son dynamic. You got some decent emotion at times to add some heart to this vehicle that is a movie. Come on. Everybody, be funny. Everybody's like, a vehicle? Are we talking about cars now? This comedy vehicle, and the comedy works. Comedy is the most subjective thing, probably. So maybe it just didn't land for other people, but everybody in the theater that I was watching it with seemed to enjoy it. So let me know what y'all thought about this movie. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that good shit. Love you guys. We're getting some comedies. We got that one, I forget the name of it, with Jennifer Lawrence coming up. That looks really funny. Maybe comedy's having a rebirth. You know, we need to push for these movies, not shit all over them. I mean, I guess if you don't like it, shit away, but are these that bad, guys? Like, what's going on? Let me know. Let me know what's up, because I enjoyed both of them, particularly this one. Peace.